Guys, we have made it to the penultimate weekend of Championship football, and do you know what? This season might go down as one of my favourites of all time because there's still so much still to play for at both the top and bottom of the Championship. Most of the games we're going to preview coming up this weekend still have something riding on them, and as always I want to hear from you guys in the comments down below. Now, it is worth flagging up that we do have a game going on in the Championship tonight. If you want to see my preview for that game, make sure to check out yesterday's video. And it's a big game as well, as Coventry are going up against Hull, both of those sides looking to keep their playoff hopes alive. Because of how my schedule's worked out this week, I've had to record the predictions video today. So if you want to delay making your predictions until that game has happened tonight, feel free to go ahead and do so. But without any further ado, let's jump in. Starting out with the Friday kickoff, we're going to QPR up against Leeds. Can Daniel Farke's men make it back-to-back wins, or does Martí Cifuentes have something up his sleeve? It's an interesting matchup. Brilliant game that Leeds were involved in on Monday night against Middlesbrough. Really frantic end-to-end game. Maybe a few of Leeds' vulnerabilities at the back were exposed in that one, but I actually think those games, which end up being a little bit like a basketball match, end up falling into Leeds' favour, because I think it gives some of their more attacking players the chance to shine, as we certainly saw Somerville do in that game. And where Leeds have typically struggled is sometimes against the opponents who are happy to sit off them a little bit, and then it's on them and they don't quite have that space in behind to play in. This will be an interesting matchup. QPR not completely safe as of recording. It was a massive win for them over the weekend against Northend, got themselves up to 50 points, and it would take quite a lot to go against them for them to be relegated at this stage, but mathematically not quite over the line yet. So still got something riding on this game. I do think it is a slight advantage for Leeds to be playing on the Friday from a psychological point of view, to get to pile the pressure on their fellow promotion rivals. With that being said, it is a day less recovery, and obviously coming off the back of a very intense game against Middlesbrough last time. QPR are certainly no mugs, and I back Cifuentes to do his homework on Farke and Leeds. With that being said, I think Leeds just about get the job done here, which would be massive for them in the promotion race. Score prediction: going to go 2-1 Leeds, I think, in that game. Big game coming up for Blackburn next as they go up against Coventry. Blackburn on 49 points, but by no means safe at this stage of the season. There is the possibility that Blackburn go into the last game of the season in the bottom three, and their last game of the season is against Leicester, so Rovers fans won't want that to happen. As things stand, they sit 19th in the table, but if Birmingham, Sheffield Wednesday are both to win this weekend and Plymouth pick up a point and Blackburn lose against Coventry, they will then go into the bottom three, so it's not that much that needs to go against them for that to happen. Disappointing performance from Rovers last time out, losing 3-1 against Sheffield Wednesday, especially on the back of that battling performance away at Ellen Road. The form under John Eustace has been quite patchy. At Ewood Park, they've gone 6 games now without a win, and this one against Coventry won't be easy. Obviously, Coventry will have a shorter recovery time because they're in action against Hull in midweek. All that being said, I would fancy Coventry and some of their attacking threats to get a few goals in this one, especially against the Blackburn defence, which has looked so leaky throughout the season. Score prediction there: 2-1 Coventry, I'm saying, which could land Blackburn in trouble. After that, we head to Ashton Gate for Bristol City up against Rotherham. Will the Steve Evans return playing to this game once again? He managed to get a return on his return to Rotherham over the weekend against Birmingham. This one will be a trickier task. Away from home, the Millers have been so poor all season. Would be typical if in their final away match of the season they finally get that first away win of the season. Do I see that happening though? Not so sure. Bristol City, despite having nothing to play for, are ending the season quite well. After Middlesbrough lost on Monday night, Bristol City are now on the longest unbeaten run in the Championship, having not lost any of their last 6 matches. In saying all of that, it would sum up Bristol City's season to have gone away to Norwich last weekend and got a really good point, all to lose this one against Rotherham. That would sort of paint their season as how it's unfolded so far. All that being said, I think logic says I am going to back Bristol City for this one. Score prediction here, I'm going to go 2-0 to the home side there. After that, we go to Cardiff up against Middlesbrough. An interesting matchup here, obviously. One of the few ties this weekend that doesn't really have anything riding on it for either side. Both these sides will be playing Championship football next season. None of them in danger of going down or have the possibility of going up from this stage. Great win for Cardiff over the weekend last time against Southampton. Bit of a shock win in many regards, but with both teams playing with the pressure off, I'd like to think you get a decent game of football here. Borough, despite losing against Leeds last time, I actually thought put in a really good performance, and for the majority of that game went toe-to-toe with one of the best sides in the league and got bitterly unlucky with that offside call that should have gone their way for the non-toe goal. All that being said, I'd fancy Borough to craft out quite a few opportunities in this one, but Cardiff always seem to have a way of coming back in matches and just about sticking in there. Score prediction here, why not? I'll go for a draw, 1-1 between these two. But undoubtedly the biggest game going on this weekend in the Championship is Huddersfield up against Birmingham. If Huddersfield lose this game, they will be relegated to League One. Those are the ramifications we're playing with right here. A draw doesn't really suit either side. It probably would keep Huddersfield alive until the last game week of the season, providing that all the results don't go against them. But this is must win for both teams now. And to be completely honest with you, I'm not really sure which way to go because neither of them are in particularly good form. Birmingham haven't won in their last 8 away matches, and they're now coming into a crunch match against Huddersfield, needing all 3 points. Generally speaking, Huddersfield have been a bit better value in hitting the back of the net recently. Huddersfield have only failed to score in 3 of their last 9 matches. Compare that to Birmingham, who have failed to score in 5 of their last 9 matches. So Gary Rowett's going to have to work his magic here somehow. It does have the feeling of a very tight and nervy game where the first goal could be absolutely colossal here. You can imagine the Gary Rowett blueprint already, looking to nick a goal and then just defend from that point onwards. I reckon there'll be a lot of time wasted in this game if there is a goal that goes either way for this one. I have to be honest, I do think Huddersfield get at least 1 goal in this game. And it's then a question of, do I see Birmingham getting 2 goals and winning it? Or can Blues make it difficult for Huddersfield by scoring first? This one really is on a knife edge. Score prediction here, I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw, which is slightly more helpful to Birmingham, but it's not really what they want. Big game coming up at the Den next as Millwall go up against Plymouth. Now, Millwall, with that win last time out against Sunderland, did manage to seal their survival in the Championship, and credit to Millwall, they've really strung a decent run of results together at just the right point of the season. That's now 3 consecutive wins for Millwall. They've kept clean sheets in 2 of those games as well. Going up against the Plymouth side here, who aren't yet over the line, a win in this one for Plymouth would be absolutely invaluable to them. But do they go ahead and get it? Really disappointing performance last time out against Stoke City, and if the same version of that squad shows up for this one, I'd probably be fancying Millwall. Totally get that Millwall don't really have anything riding on this one, and we could get a scenario where that squad is on the beach maybe, and Plymouth are fighting for their lives in this game. But you can also look at it from the reverse perspective. All the pressure is on Plymouth in this fixture, and I'm sure Neil Harris will want to sign off with the last home game of the season in strong fashion. Millwall haven't tended to give that much away at the Den since Harris has returned. Playing the narrative here, I do have a sneaky feeling that Plymouth's survival bid may go down to the final day of the season where they are back at home. Score prediction, I have a feeling it could be another 1-0 Millwall win, which would drop Plymouth right in it with 1 game to go. Next then to Norwich up against Swansea. This one's a bit of an interesting matchup. Norwich not completely sealed up their place in the top 6 as of recording, but they're very close to going ahead and doing so. We'll want to take advantage of the final home game of the season that they've got here, but Swansea could be a potential tricky opponent. No pressure on the Swans coming into this one. Really strong second half performance in the end against Huddersfield last time out, as well as they put 4 goals past them in that game. And I think we've seen sprinklings of what this Luke Williams Swansea side will look like long term, and given a full pre-season and a bit of recruitment, I'm excited to see what that squad ends up looking like maybe this time next season under Williams. Bristol City obviously gave a really good account of themselves when they came to Carrow Road last time out and left with a point, and deservedly so I think in the end. Norwich's record at Carrow Road is so strong though. I don't think they'll lose this game. It's just a question of whether or not I think Swansea will get a point. Score prediction there, I think the Canaries just edge it. 2-1, but I see both sides getting on the score sheet there. Next then to Hillsborough for Sheffield Wednesday up against West Brom. A massive game in Wednesday's season. They're 4 unbeaten, claimed a massive win last time out, but can they get the better of the Baggies in this match? Now, there is a very strong possibility that if Wednesday don't win this match, they could drop into the bottom 3 once again with just 1 game to go, and Wednesday won't want to find themselves in that situation. But with Birmingham playing Huddersfield, it's a guarantee that at least one of those sides will be picking up points this weekend, and Sheffield Wednesday will be fully aware of that. It's an interesting one coming up against West Brom at this stage of the season. They're spotting in the top 6, not completely sealed up as of yet, but very close to going ahead and doing so. They lost last time against Leicester, but I actually thought played really well. Other than their finishing, they put in a really good showing in that match and should have had at least 2 or 3 goals, I think, given the clear-cut chances they crafted out. With that being said, Sheffield Wednesday in front of a packed-out crowd at Hillsborough, I think will give a good account of themselves in this one, and I don't think there'll be that much to separate both sides. It's certainly Sheffield Wednesday who have got more riding on this game than West Brom have. Personally, I think this one ends level, and Sheffield Wednesday's battle for survival goes right down to the wire next week. Score prediction there, going for a 1-1 draw between them. Next then to Southampton up against Stoke, and it was not a good midweek for Russell Martin's men. Heavily beaten by Leicester in the end, and they'll just want to get that game out of their system as quickly as possible. Few doubts started to creep in, I'm sure, amongst the Southampton fan base when that starting 11 was announced. Obviously, some of the big players they were missing for that one, but automatic promotion no longer on the table for Southampton. It will be the playoffs. So while these remaining 2 matches for Southampton don't technically have anything riding on them, they will want to go into the playoffs with that little bit of momentum behind them. They won't want to let that Leicester result fester within their system, because it's not going to be long until they'll need to click back up into gear for the playoffs once again. This will be an interesting game up against Stoke. Obviously a massive win for Steven Schumacher's side last time out, 3-0 against Plymouth. That result lifted them to 17th in the table, up to 50 points. Job isn't quite done yet in terms of properly getting themselves mathematically over the line, but they are in a very strong position with 2 games to go. Don't think there'll be a whole lot in this one, if I'm being completely honest. One thing worth remembering with Hull is they've not actually put back-to-back wins together since October. So bear that in mind when making your score prediction for this game. For me personally, I think the Saints may edge it. 2-1 Southampton, I'll go. I think they have to bounce back from that Leicester defeat. Next then to Vicarage Road for Watford up against Sunderland. Neither side having anything riding on this game, just playing for pride at this stage of the season. Watford without a win in their last 6 matches, but with that being said, I think they've played fairly well of late, have had a really difficult fixture list, and have taken points off a lot of top sides in that time as well. The vast majority of games involving Watford, especially since Tom Cleverley has come in as interim boss, have been incredibly tight, and I fancy the same outcome for this match as well. Sunderland have only won 1 of their last 5, a disappointing defeat last time out against Millwall. Score prediction here, it'll be the last time Tom Cleverley's potentially in front of that Watford crowd. I think he'll want to leave on a high. 1-0 Watford, I'll say. After that, we go to Hull up against Ipswich, and what a massive game this is in Ipswich's season. It's looking more than likely that they'll have to win all 3 of their remaining matches to guarantee automatic promotion, but the tables could have turned by the time Ipswich come into this fixture. It is the late kickoff on Saturday, obviously, with Leeds playing QPR on the Friday. There is a chance that Leeds slip up in that fixture, and if that is to happen, that will take some significant pressure off Ipswich going into this match. But I think the vast majority of us think Leeds probably get through that game against QPR on Friday, which really sticks it on Kieran McKenna's men. Now, they have had a prolonged rest period. They weren't in action last weekend, and obviously Hull playing Coventry in midweek, maybe a little bit more jaded for this one. But I don't always think that having a big break is a good thing. I think we often see after international breaks, teams can come back looking that little bit rusty and not quite having that match sharpness about them. Ipswich can't afford that to happen. Hull away is no easy game as well. The Tigers have only lost 6 home games all season, so that's worth bearing in mind. I think this one's going to be incredibly close, and gut feeling, I actually think that this one, of all the games that they've got left, I think this one could be the one they drop points in. I've got a sneaky feeling this one ends level, you know. 1-1 draw, I'm saying, which really would add to the Ipswich nerves. And then to round things off, on Monday night at Deepdale, we do have Preston going up against Leicester. A win in this game for the Foxes would seal their place in the Premier League for next season with a game to go. And coming off the back of that fantastic performance against Southampton, I think Leicester have to fancy their chances coming into this one against the Preston side, who are well and truly looking on the beach right now. My only bit of hope for North End coming into this one is the fact that we have taken points off all of the top 4 at Deepdale this season, obviously apart from Leicester. Got a point against Southampton and beat both Ipswich and Leeds at Deepdale. So when we are fully on it, I think there's every chance that we could give Leicester a decent game of football here. The problem is our form has tailed off so badly of late. Obviously, injuries have accumulated in that time, and we have nothing to play for here. I'm sure it'll be a packed out away end at Deepdale as well. Leicester are going to want that promotion party. I feel like they're going to rock up to this game and be in the mood. Score prediction, I think they have a field day here. I'm saying 3-0 Leicester, but honestly, it could be a bit more brutal than that. But guys, there you have it. That will now wrap it up for today's video. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you did go on to enjoy, make sure to leave a like. Get all your score predictions in the comments down below. But apart from that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.